All right, guys, seems like everybody in the country has got a Remington Model 700 of their own. This is a simple upgrade that you can do to your Remington Model 700 to make it a more accurate shooter.
Hi guys, Mike Lamb from Stoic Ventures. I'm here today to talk to you about some triggers from a company called TriggerTech. Now, when we're thinking about starting to accurize our rifles or modify our rifles, generally the first thing a lot of people start with is switching out the trigger or getting a trigger job done. Now, there's a myriad of reasons for that. Trigger control being one of our firearms fundamentals when it comes down to getting accuracy, being able to control that trigger, control our sights as we're pressing on that trigger, engaging it, helps us get hits, helps us stay more accurate, helps us get hits on target. So TriggerTech is a drop-in trigger that is available for the Remington 700, which I'll get into in a minute and explain how TriggerTech does this so you can have a very light trigger pull without compromising the safety and integrity of your rifle's action. Now, one of the coolest things about this trigger is right here, this set screw that controls the trigger pull weight. This trigger here is for a Remington 700. It has a safety pre-installed on it, so it's pretty much drop right in to your rifle. I've taken this action out of the stock. This is just a standard plain Jane Remington 700. Always, if you're going to do any work on your firearms, before firearm safety rules, always abide. Make sure the weapon's unloaded, make sure you're doing this in a safe area. So with this, I'll simply take out these two drift pins right here, mind the springs that are in there, drop this one in, make sure the springs are still there, boom, put those in. Now my trigger's installed. If you feel comfortable with doing that on your own, do it on your own. If not, take it to a competent gunsmith and let them install it. With a traditional trigger, it's set from the factory anywhere between 4 and 6 pounds. Now, pull weights can be very misleading. In addition to pull length, there's also pull length. So we have pull weight, pull length. So even if you have a 1 pound trigger, if there's a lot of what they call creep, which is the amount that you start off at the initial part of the press, all the way out here, and as you press the trigger, come in, then it finally engages, put that 1 pound of positive pressure, boom, the trigger engages, disengages from the sear or hammer, drops that firing pin, sends a round down range. Now, conversely, some shooters might like that. Conversely, so there's a lot of shooters that don't like that. There's a lot of shooters that would rather have a little bit heavier trigger press, but a lot less creep. So the starting position is right here, press, boom, and it breaks clean. A lot of match shooters have triggers like that. This TriggerTech is the latter. It is really no creep at all, but you can adjust the pull weight. Now the way they do this, and they do this safely, is pretty cool. I'm going to use these two magazines as an example of how a traditional trigger and sear engagement work on a bolt rifle. So traditionally, this is the sear and this is the trigger. Put my finger right here on the trigger. So as I'm pressing, that engages, disengages rather, releases that sear, lets the firing pin go, boom, round goes off. Now, the shorter and shorter you get, the less creep. The more contact you have, the more creep. So for no creep, you have barely any surface area contact. So if that rifle drops, you fall out of a vehicle, tree, something like that for you hunters out there, disengages, it's going to send a round. Safety or not, they're mechanical devices fail. So what's cool about this one,
they've placed a roller in between the trigger and the sear. It is an independent roller, allowed to move freely out of the way once the trigger releases. This lets the trigger release fully utilize rolling resistance, a negligible force. So with no real forces to be fighting, TriggerTech can develop the perfect release characteristics on the trigger, giving you the same trigger release on your first shot, all the way through up to after your 50,000th shot, giving you that same performance every time.
it's very safe, so no matter how hard I run the bolt on this, and I'm running it hard, slamming it, it's not going to matter. It's not going to send that round off negligently. And I could twist this in. There's audible clicks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, anywhere from 1 to 4 pounds. Each click is 1 ounce, positive or negative, depending on which way I'm turning the wrench. So if you're in the market for a trigger, they make these for bolt action rifles, they make them for ARs, they also make them for crossbows. So if any of those apply to you and you're looking for a nice safe trigger coming in around $90 price point, check out Trigger Tech.
Troy is the American innovator. We set the industry standard for superior design, absolute reliability, and flawless performance. Proven in combat, Troy products are battle ready and will function without question when lives are on the line. There is only one name to remember, Troy.
Crossbreedholsters.com. Every Crossbreed holster is handmade, based on the design our founder invented. A Kydex pocket molded around your gun for perfect retention. A leather backing for comfort. And specially designed clips that allow you to tuck in your shirt for complete concealment and a smooth draw. We make the highest quality mag carriers. And belts sturdy enough to hold the weight of any gun. Our holsters come with a lifetime warranty and 2-week try-it-free guarantee. Crossbreed. Conceal and carry the cross.